Kenya already is grappling with our own solid waste issues. What of nuclear waste? We do not have capacity as a country to deal with nuclear waste. In 2023, there was a hurried push to develop a nuclear policy for Kenya, and it went through Parliament within record speed. We had high doubts that any member of Parliament ever read through it. They were just instructed to go and sign it, and they did. Because when we then tried to engage Parliament on that policy, many of the parliamentarians who engaged had no clue about what they signed. Just said, we were asked to sign, it's a policy for Kenya, and they did. At the time, they were doing what they were calling a validation exercise of the social and economic impact of the CESA report. And I discovered that some of the things that were written in the CESA report were very preposterous. For example, Kenya had said that they would be disposing waste into space. We found numerous gaps in what they were proposing. Kenya had not complied. We didn't even have a nuclear policy in place. We actually, in 2023, organized 4 big meetings where we invited NuPEA, we invited NEMA, the National Environmental Management Authority, we invited the Ministry of Energy, and all of them honored our call and they came to the community. But they were unable to answer any of the questions that the community raised around nuclear. For example, if there was a leakage in the nuclear power plant, were there hospital facilities that had been identified that could cater for that? Does Kenya have the capacity to handle people who have been exposed to high radiation? Yeah, you know where the Ministry of Energy is?
We here at the offices of NuPEA, which is the Nuclear Energy Agency of Kenya, and we are here to have an engagement with them. We know that their mission is to promote nuclear, but then we are here to just have an engagement with them and ask them if they could consider that we are facing a climate disruption, and that climate disruption demands us to be responsible in what kind of energy choice do we want. If this agency wants to promote nuclear in Kenya, it's quite important that they also are reminded of the commitments that Kenya has made, particularly in protecting the biodiversity of this country.
I think it was actually a situation that I haven't been witness to many times in my life. When you come into like a nuclear power agency, the state agency, and you're talking to people there, and it appears they don't know what they're talking about. It appears like you have more information than they are.
That's what we've been saying on the ground. These people do not understand. When the community asked about that, they said, it's so safe, you can touch it with your bare hands. These people, Phyllis is just creating this. And that showed me that they do not have any idea what they are discussing. And therefore meaning that Kenya is not ready at all to deal with the issues of nuclear reactors.
I mean, you can clearly say, like, look, we talked to them, they know nothing. They just totally, they are incompetent.
And they don't want to engage
when he
in any
said that
they said it very clearly.
the building in what commissioning in 2034, that's impossible.
Kenyan government is in this inside of this very negative magic when in developing countries especially, governments start to think that having nuclear is a matter of prestige. It's very good. It's like it's how you look better than you are, how you look more advanced and more technologically developed. And they think that all those consequences like replacing people from their land or dealing with nuclear waste, they just don't want to pay attention to this. If politicians want to build nuclear power plant, they should build it next to their home. And if they don't want to put it next to their home, they should not force other people to accept and give their land away for the nuclear power plant.
We see that most of the countries in the global south that had invested in nuclear power are now decommissioning their power plants. So for us, there was a question of the transfer of technology was not being done in order to develop Africa, but it was a dumping of technology that was outdated. It's a technology that is no longer viable. It does not boost the economic situation of Kenya, but it actually enslaves us even more. We realize that all the other sources of energy are in our own control. We have vast geothermal resources in Kenya. They are talking about 18,000 megawatts that have not been scratched yet. And we feel like we should use the resources that we have control over, rather than an energy source that we would have to wait for another country to supply us with nuclear rods, to supply us with the technology to run the plant. Like, we are giving, geopolitically it weakens us, we are giving power to someone else to control our electricity, whilst we have numerous other ways that are safer for our people. They are renewable, they're friendly to the environment, they are friendly to our animals, they are friendly to our flora and fauna. So we felt like the whole idea of nuclear is not for Kenya. We feel like it's not even for Africa. And therefore we chose to oppose the idea of nuclear power plants here in Kenya. Kana Nuclear, Kana Nuclear, Kana Nuclear. So we are so empowered now. We are ready to go back and continue the fight.